UFC Fight Night, Imavov versus Borralho. Quick picks, quick predictions. You guys already know how it is. UFC Paris Fight Night. Before we go ahead and get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's start it off with the early prelim opener of Sam Hughes versus Shauna Bannon. Opens up this fight night. And honestly, I'm not even mad at the fight. You know, Shauna Bannon, she fights usually when they go to Europe. Sam Hughes is one of the most underrated WMMA fighters. Her record looks terrible, but she is a scrappy fighter. She's a dog in there, and she will fight till she can't fight anymore. In her last fight, in every single fight Sam Hughes has been in, she's been the underdog. This is the first time she's the favorite, and I think it's actually a mistake. I think the odds are insane on this fight. Shauna Bannon is a 3-1 underdog, and we saw in Shauna Bannon's last fight in London, I think it was Fight Night London, she submitted Pooja Tomar after being dropped. You know, very underrated. Shauna Bannon's actually pretty good. She's decently well-rounded. Very weird striking. Lots of kicks. Lots of front kicks up the middle. Teep kicks. You know, she wants to keep you at distance. Sam Hughes likes to scrap it out. She's a bit more of a dog. And she has been an underdog. And she is a dog for that reason. But I think this might be one of the instances where Sam Hughes, as the first time in her career being a favorite, she might lose this fight, and I think she will lose this fight. I'm going to go with Shauna Bannon as an underdog. I think she is going to use the range. She's going to use her reach. She's going to use those kicks up the middle. She's going to keep Sam Hughes at distance. And if they do get to the ground where Sam Hughes might take it, we saw that Shauna Bannon has good defensive grappling, and she has good submissions off of her back. The arm bar, she's got good triangles. She can chuck up triangles. I think she could make this a difficult fight for Sam Hughes, and I think we're going to see a close decision like we always see with Sam Hughes, where it could go the side of Shauna Bannon being the European fighter. I'm going to lean Shauna Bannon as the quick pick, as the early prediction, by split decision. I think it's probably going to be a very close fight, and I think the judges are going to lean the way of Shauna Bannon, unlike leaning the way of Sam Hughes, where she's gotten a couple of decisions, very close decisions recently, and she usually does against decent competition. But I think Shauna Bannon could steal it by decision. Give me that as my quick pick. Early pick is going to be Shauna Bannon. We move on. Andreas Gustafsson versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. I like Andreas Gustafsson, and I do hope he wins this fight. He is very good. But Rinat Fakhretdinov just keeps getting away with these robbery decisions, and I don't see it stopping. I really don't see it stopping, until he faces a competition that can literally put him unconscious, put him out. I don't think Andreas Gustafsson is going to do that. I think, if anything, Rinat Fakhretdinov is going to fluke a finish over Andreas Gustafsson, or do something where we're just like, how did Rinat do that? You know what I mean? Or how did he get this decision? It's going to be something like that. Rinat did not win his last fight. He lost that, but he got gifted a decision. They were in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, the circumstances are different now. But I do think Andreas Gustafsson is going to really push the pace, push forward, and maybe get himself stuck in a bad position where Rinat might do some damage. He is a good striker. He is a good grappler. Andreas is as well, and I do like Andreas Gustafsson. I do hope that he wins. I'm going to be rooting for him, but I'm going to pick Rinat Fakhretdinov. A lot of people are picking Andreas Gustafsson, and Rinat is actually the underdog. And I'm going back-to-back underdogs here. I think there's a lot of value on underdogs on this card. I'm going Rinat Fakhretdinov by fluke decision or by fluke finish. I genuinely see him getting a fluke of some sort, and people are just like so confused. How did he pull that off? Why was this the outcome of this fight? I think we're just going to be shocked at whatever the outcome of this fight is. Either way, a lot of people are going to pick Gustafsson. I think his pressure is good. I think his power and his pace is good. But I think Rinat is going to let him walk into a shot, or let Andreas get himself stuck in a bad position. He was able to press Chaos Williams, but Rinat is decently well-rounded. He can take it to the ground if he needs to, and he can get top time, top control, and just lay on top of you. So I'm going to lean Rinat Fakhretdinov as the early quick pick. We move on to the next fight, Brad Tavares versus Robert Brezkic. I'm not Brechik. I'm going to say Brechik. I'm not going to even try to say his last name. I'm going to butcher it. I'm going Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares has the experience. He has the octagon time. He's got the UFC experience, and he did decent against GM3 in their last fight. I still think he's got it for the most part. He's getting up there in age, but he's got that dog in him. And I watched some of Robert's tape. He's not bad. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple Polish fighters on this card, and Robert's not bad. I just don't know if he's UFC ready yet, and I'm going to lean Brad Tavares by decision. I think he's just going to be able to outwork Robert in moments and just be the tougher guy in there. He's Hawaiian, he's got that durability that he needs to have, and I still think he holds on to that durability. He's very hard to finish. I don't think Robert can finish him, and I think Brad Tavares is going to get a decision win. That's going to be my quick pick. We move on to the next fight, Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. This is a tough one for me. but I'm going to lean Sam Patterson just because of Trey Waters' inactivity. He hasn't fought in the octagon in a minute. He's very big for this division, very long, very lengthy, and Sam Patterson hasn't really seen that, but Sam does have good skills. He showed us that he can finish fights with his hands in his last one rather than just being a submission guy. He got it done over an undefeated fighter, and he's going to be underestimated here, but I think Sam Patterson is very well rounded, and he didn't have the best chin at 155, but moving up to 170, he's 6'3", he's got that long reach. So does Trey Waters, but the problem is Waters isn't the biggest finisher. He doesn't have a massive amount of power, which you need to put Sam Patterson unconscious. I'm going to go Sam Patterson as the quick pick, as the early pick. I'm going to say he gets it done by decision or maybe by submission. I think he should just grapple in this fight, honestly, and not even try to let Trey Waters get the striking off or anything. Just go straight to the grappling, look for a submission or look for top control and just dominate the fight for as long as you can. I'm going to lean Sam Patterson as the early pick. We move on to the next fight. Rhys McKee. Oh, I didn't even realize this was on the card. This is a new addition. Rhys McKee versus Axel Sola. No idea who Axel Sola even is. Didn't even know this was on the card. No idea who this guy is. There's no picture, of course. This one doesn't even have a picture either. UFC website is great. Multi-billion-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar deal with Paramount. And yeah, all we've got is black pictures. Thank you, UFC. But Rhys McKee versus Axel Sola. No idea who Axel Sola is. I'm picking Rhys McKee no matter what. Rhys McKee proved me wrong in his last fight. Beat an up-and-coming guy and beat him well in the first round. Beat him bad and beat up his face, man. I forget the guy's name. Oh, Frola or some Frenza. I forget his name. But Rhys McKee beat his ass, and he's looked a lot better. He's had a lot of time to train. He's well known as one of Khamzat Chimaev's first victims, but Rhys McKee's done a lot better, and he's looked a lot better. I'm going to lean Rhys McKee. No idea who Axel Sola is. I'll have to look more into that, but as the early pick, as the quick pick, I'm going to go Rhys McKee. We move on. Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. I think Delija is from Croatia. Marcin Tybura, one of the Polish guys, and he's a guy I've underestimated in every single fight. I need to stop picking against Marcin Tybura, and I'm going to stop doing that. I'm picking Marcin Tybura in this fight. I think as well he's an underdog because of the fact that he's so underrated always. And Ante Delija does look pretty good, but he's coming out of a different promotion. I don't know if it's PFL or Bellator, but he's coming from a different promotion. He has looked decent. He is the younger fighter, but I can't trust the guys from PFL. I can't trust any of them anymore, and I'm not going to do that. And I know that Marcin Tybura, the Tybura test gets 90% of people. It gets 99% of people, man. It gets all the up-and-coming heavyweights. Marcin Tybura is the best gatekeeper at heavyweight. He's one of the best gatekeepers at heavyweight, and I think he's going to do that again. He's 40 years old now. I think he's 41, 42 years old, and he's still able to pull this off against young up-and-coming UFC fighters. So I think against Ante Delija, he'll be able to pull it off. I'm going to go Marcin Tybura by finish. I think he gets a finish, ground and pound TKO, maybe a submission, something on the ground. I think he's going to get top position on Ante Delija, who does grapple a decent amount, and I think he's going to be able to land some good shots, get a finish here. So give me Marcin Tybura by finish. Don't know how he'll get it done, but I think he'll find a finish over Ante Delija, and he's gonna cash again as an underdog, man. Marcin Tybura is always underrated, so give me him as my quick pick. What am I saying? We move on to the next fight. Umar Sy versus Brenson Ribeiro. Low-level light heavyweight matchup, man. Umar Sy, very disappointing in his last fight. Just absolutely shit the bed against Alonzo Menifield. Looked terrible, man, against a almost 40-year-old Alonzo Menifield. And Brenson Ribeiro in his last one fought Azmat Mirzakhanov, short notice, got chinned, obviously. Before that, he notably beat Diar Nurgaze, who we now know is terrible, but he submitted him, looked pretty good. And Umar Sy, he was one of the French prospects, got absolutely boosted up to the ranks, got a shot at the rankings, where he was like a 5-1 favorite, and shit the bed. Actually, I think he was a 6 or 7-1 favorite. He's still a favorite in this one. But I'm going to lean Umar Sy. I think Brenson Ribeiro is good. I think his striking is good. Umar Sy doesn't have the best striking, but he can just lay on top of you and make it a boring fight. And I think he's going to have to do that against Brenson Ribeiro. Ribeiro could make it scrappy, could make it close, and that's what he has to do. I just don't see him doing against Umar Sy. He's in Paris. He better win this fight. If he doesn't, he's done, and Paris is going to boo him. So Umar Sy is going to be my quick pick. I'm going to say he gets it done by decision. He's just going to be wanting to get back in the win column. He's going to make it boring, and he'll lay on top of Brenson Ribeiro for 15 minutes is what I'm thinking is going to happen. Give me Umar Sy as the quick pick. We move on. William Gomi versus Robert Ruchala. We got two Roberts on this card, both from Poland. I think they're both Polish, yeah. So Robert Ruchala is Polish. William Gomes, lost his last fight against what was his name? The guy with the really big head. Oh my goodness, I forget his name. He lost his last fight by split decision, and it was a close fight, back and forth. William Gomes could have won that fight for sure. He could have won that fight, and I think that was his first loss in the UFC. I don't see him losing this fight to Robert Ruchala. They're bringing in these new guys from Poland, and I think they're good. I think they are good. I think Robert Ruchala is decent, but I think William Gomes is better. I think he's better everywhere, just better at being boring. Genuinely, he's better at being boring. He knows how to slow down the pace, land his shots at his own pace, land it at what he wants to do. He does what he wants to do for the most part, unless you're really dogging him out, which I don't see Robert doing in his first UFC fight with all the pressure on him. I think William Gomes is going to get this done by decision. Maybe he finds a finish, maybe. I don't see it happening, but I'm going to go William Gomes by decision. These new Polish fighters, before we see them in the UFC and see what they're capable of, I'm going to have to fade him. Besides, obviously, Marcin Tybura, who is, a different Polish level. But I'm going to have to fade these new Polish guys. The two Roberts, I'm fading them both for now. We'll see how they look. But I'm going to go William Gomes as the early pick. We move on to the main card. Patricio Pitbull, how do they not even have Losen Keita's picture, man? They got nothing going on here. Patricio Pitbull facing Losen Keita. They're bringing Losen Keita into the UFC. He fought for Octagon, I believe it's called, Octagon, and in Germany. He's a very good fighter. 16-1, Losen Keita. He's got great knockout power, very versatile, really big power in his hands, very well skilled on the feet, on the ground as well. He's able to take it to the ground, mix it up. He's very, very fast. Very, very fast. He comes at you, big pressure, big pace that he puts on you, and he wants to throw hands with you. And Losen Keita is definitely a prospect, but he's coming into the UFC to fight a PFL guy. I'm sorry, I'm still not considering Patricio Pitbull a UFC guy yet. Sorry, a Bellator guy. It makes no sense. Why didn't they give Losen Keita to somebody else? Why do they keep having to do these new up-and-comers with ranked opponents as well? I don't think Patricio Pitbull is really that good, but I do think he could win this fight. It's going to be a close one for sure, but Patricio Pitbull, if he slows down the pace, if he does what he did to Dan Ige, if he slows it down, he gets the grappling going, I think he could win this fight. I'm going to go Patricio Pitbull as the early pick. I hope Losen Keita knocks his ass out. I'm going to be honest. I really, really hope he does, because Pitbull can be chinned. For sure he can be chinned. But, I think Pitbull's just a smart fighter. I think he's a very smart fighter. I think his IQ is good, as long as he's not fighting a long, rangy striker like a Yair Rodriguez or somebody like an Arnold Allen, like somebody really like decently long, decently tall. I think he can win those fights, And Losen Keita, kind of like a Dan Ige, coming into the UFC, his first fight in the UFC, he's going to have some pressure. I think Patricio Pitbull can grapple with him. He's going to want to grapple with him off the get-go, stuff the takedowns, if Keita shoots any takedowns, Patricio Pitbull will use that as his advantage, get top position, land shots, just, kind of hold him on the ground and really slow down the pace. I think that's the only way Pitbull wins, because Losen Keita is going to come in hot, throw big hands, and Pitbull's going to have to be careful to not get chinned. But I'm going to lean Patricio Pitbull as the early pick, as the quick pick. I'm going to say by decision. I think he slows it down, makes it boring, tires out Keita. Then round 2, round 3, Keita's tired, and he'll get a decision win. Give me Patricio Pitbull as the early pick. We move on to the next fight, Fares Siam versus Kyle Fernandez. This is a good fight, honestly, and it's a fight that's kind of closer than the odds suggest. For Fares Siam, big favorite. I think he should be the favorite. Kyle Fernandez, though, quite underrated. Just beat Guram Kutuzaleze, who we now know is a bum. Cal put the final, stake in the coffin. He put the final thing in the coffin. Guram he's done. He's done, man. And the days of saying Guram, this guy's a prospect. This is the guy to look out for, are done, man. Cal Fernandez shut that down, beat him up for 3 rounds, really beat him up, destroyed his leg, sniped him from range, just bouncing around the octagon. Cal Fernandez is a good striker. And Fares Siam is a very good fighter as well. He's coming off that win over Mike Davis, where Mike was just genuinely pulling guard and Fares was beating him up. Mike put him in like a calf slicer. Fares just let his leg get shredded. But Fares is very, very good. Very good. Very well-rounded everywhere. His striking's very good. We saw that against, oh my goodness. Who's the guy that he KO'd with the knee, man? Oh, I forget. Oh, Matt Frafola. He KO'd Matt Frafola in Paris last time with the knee up the middle. Disgusting KO. Really, really nasty. And he's well-rounded. Not the best finisher, but he's got good striking, got good grappling we've seen now, and he can defend himself on the ground. I think Fares Siam's going to grapple in this fight. I'm going to be honest, because Cal Fernandez is one of the Brazilians who doesn't have, great grappling or great submission game. We've yet to see it, at least for the most part. We've only seen his hands, and I think Fares Siam is going to know that if I strike with this guy, there's always the potential that I could get dropped or I could get injured. So I think Fares Siam is going to be smart. He's going to grapple here, and I think he's going to get a decision win over Cal Fernandez, and he might get a shot at the rankings next. We'll see, but if he does get a big performance in Paris and he does finish Cal Fernandez, he will definitely get a shot at the rankings. But give me Fares Siam as the early pick, as a quick pick by decision. I think he's going to grapple in this fight, take down Cal Fernandez, get some good ground and pound off, get some good top control time. And I think Fares Siam's going to play this one safe, man. Give me Fares Siam as the early pick. We move on to the next fight, Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. Paul Craig, man. Paul Craig, dude, I mean, three losses in a row, one no contest. Like, Paul Craig's on a roll right now. He's on a roll of his career coming down. But this is a fight where Paul Craig could fluke this one. I'm gonna be honest. This is a fight Paul Craig could probably fluke, probably pull off a triangle or something. I'm never gonna pick Paul Craig, but it is possible. I could definitely see a Paul Craig fluke in this one with a triangle, armbar, something off his back. But everybody knows Paul Craig's game plan now. Body kick, slam body kicks, and go for triangles and arm bars off my back. Everybody knows his game plan. He's got so many fights that we know what he does. He doesn't change ever. Paul Craig never changes, and that's his problem. I think Modestas Bukauskas is going to finish Paul Craig. I think he's going to finish him in a decently brutal fashion by KO. I think Modestas Bukauskas is very good. Since coming back to the UFC, since having his knee, like, rebuilt after getting destroyed by, Khalil Roundtree destroyed Modestas Bukauskas' knee, stomping on it. After he's been back in the UFC, he's looked great. You know, his last one against Kutulaba, I was there live. Wasn't the best fight, but I did think Modestas won that fight, and he did win that fight. And I think he beats Paul Craig, dude. I think he can knock out Paul Craig. Paul Craig's pretty chinny. Got knocked out by Kyle Borralho. Got lost to Bo Nickel. You know, got outstruck by Bo Nickel, man. I don't think Paul Craig's got it anymore. Unless he pulls off a fluke submission off the ground, I don't think he wins this fight. Give me Modestas Bukauskas by first or second round TKO. He's going to push the pace. He's going to land big shots. He's going to drop Paul Craig. As long as he doesn't put himself into a submission, he wins this fight 9 out of 10 times. We move on. Borralho Oki versus Mason Jones. This is a very tough one. I've been back and forth on. Very, very tough one. I'm going to lean Mason Jones, early pick. You know, Borralho Oki's very good. I like Borralho Oki. He's fun. He's got pressure. He's dangerous. He's got some finishing ability. He's always trying to finish a fight. But Mason Jones, since coming back, he's looked pretty good, and he's had close fights with good guys. His only 2 losses are to very good competition. He's got good grappling. His striking's come a long way. In his last fight, he showed his striking. He didn't try to grapple too much with, oh my God, I'm not going to remember his name. I'm terrible with names. I'm not going to remember his name. He fought an Unk in his last one, but he scrapped it out. He could have just grappled for that entire fight. He could have grappled, but he wanted to make it fun. I think in this one, he's not going to risk it, and he's going to grapple with Borralho Oki. Mason Jones has the better wrestling. He doesn't really, I don't think he has the better striking, but his wrestling is so high above Borralho Oki's that I think he's going to take him down, hold him down, tire him out, and then get the ground shots off, get the ground and pound off, and then be the better striker once Borralho Oki is tired. So give me Mason Jones by decision. I think he's going to beat Borralho Oki, who tends to tire out. You know, Borralho Oki can tire out, or he can put himself in bad positions like he did against Chris Duncan. I think that was the last time they were in Paris, actually. He got subbed by Chris Duncan. But I'm going to go Mason Jones as the early pick. We move on to the next fight, the co-main event, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Mauricio Rufy, man. I so badly want to pick Benoit Saint-Denis, but I know if I pick Benoit Saint-Denis and I'm wrong, I'm going to be mad. But if I know I pick Mauricio Rufy and I'm wrong, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be mad, but I'm going to be happy. So picking Rufy is a win-win in my books, because if he wins, I was right. If he loses, I'm glad Benoit won. I saw Benoit fight in Montreal, subbed Kyle Propolic, short notice, but it was an easy win. But I did not like what I saw, man. Benoit Saint-Denis was getting hit by Kyle Propolic. He was getting hit pretty hard as well. The guy just doesn't learn to put his hands down. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's an absolute marauder, Benoit Saint-Denis. He's a marauder, but he doesn't put his hands up. He doesn't know how to defend himself, man. And that is a big issue when you're fighting somebody like Mauricio Rufy, who has great striking, really great striking. We just saw him land that spinning wheel kick over Bobby Green. He's not going to land that shit on Benoit Saint-Denis, but he could definitely chin him. He's the longer fighter. He's got the better reach. He's the way better striker, much more fluid in motion. He looks like a prime Conor McGregor. He looks super clean, man. He's been finished one time. He got finished by the guy that just entered the UFC, Sosa, and I think Mauricio Rufy has all the upside on the feet. I think he stings Benoit Saint Denis on the feet. Even if he doesn't finish him, I think he'll sting Benoit on the feet, really badly hurt him. I think unless BSD grapples heavy, he doesn't win this fight. So I'm going to lean Mauricio Rufy as the early pick. I'm going to say he gets a finish in round 2 or round 3. But I do hope Benoit Saint Denis marauders his way to a decision win or a submission win. I hope he marauders his way and mauls Mauricio Rufy, but I don't see it happening, man. Unfortunately, since Benoit Saint Denis has been chinned by Poirier, you just see like how he fights, and his hands being down is just so worrisome. At every moment, I'm like, shit, is he gonna get knocked out? Is he gonna get hit really badly and get hurt really badly? At least he has a good team now. He's training with the same team as Nasruddin Imavov, which is great, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Rufy, who has a lot of momentum at the moment. Unless Benoit Saint Denis, like I said, he marauds his way to a submission win and grapples for 15 minutes, I don't think he wins this fight. So give me Mauricio Rufy by KO in round 2 or round 3. I think he gets it done, man. We move on to the main event, though. Nasruddin Imavov versus Caio Borralho. I already broke down this fight. Well, I didn't really break it down. I was talking about Caio Borralho, but I think Nasruddin Imavov wins this fight, man. I think he's got the grappling defense. I think he's got the striking. I think the only problem that Nasruddin Imavov has is clinch work, which Caio Borralho doesn't utilize very much. I don't think he's going to be able to do that to Nasruddin Imavov, who is the bigger fighter, who's got the better striking. I think for sure Nasruddin Imavov's got the better striking out of the two. His boxing is super clean. He's got lots of power. He showed it off against Izzy in his last fight. I think Caio Borralho hasn't fought good enough competition to beat Imavov just yet. He could win this fight. Don't get me wrong. He could definitely win by decision. The Fighting Nerds could come in here and win the co-main and the main event in Paris and have some upsets. But I do think that Imavov is just going to be the better striker, win the minutes, and win this fight by decision. Caio Borralho could have success, but unless he gets takedowns and really holds down Imavov, I don't think he wins this fight. So give me Nasruddin Imavov by decision as the early pick. I think he's the better striker, like I said, and I think he can stuff the takedowns. Obviously, he got taken down by Brendan Allen early in their fight, but Brendan Allen got tired, and I think Caio Borralho would get tired if he took down Imavov and was trying to hold him down while Imavov is scrambling. He's going to be working the scrambles nonstop, not to mention that Caio Borralho has been flying everywhere. He's been going everywhere, doing all sorts of fun stuff, cutting weight. He was the backup fighter for 319. He cut weight. He cut weight and made championship weight 3 weeks ago, and now he's got to cut weight again. I don't think that's a good sign for Caio Borralho. Give me Nasruddin Imavov by decision as my early pick, as my quick pick for the main event, boys. But that is the entire card breakdown, all my quick picks, all my quick predictions. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop it down in the comments who you guys are taking in the main event, and I will catch you boys in the next one. See you.